Ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Mr. Superlateem coming to you again from the Diaspora Stories. And if you have never subscribed to this channel, if it's your first time here, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Today, we are going straight to our land, our motherland, Africa. What are these things that are hitching us every day? And we have put them into 3 segments. Let's work together as we discuss. We have corruption. We have what we call inheritance of power. After every election in most of our countries in Africa, people must shed blood, people must fight. There must be a disagreement between opposition and the government. And at the same time, we want to put our own family members into government and our friends. We forget what we call service delivery. Let's go straight to the point.
Obama
respect
to lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender people.
Respect African societies and their values. If you don't agree, you just keep quiet. Let's manage our society the way we see. If we are wrong, we shall find out by ourselves. Just the way we don't interfere with yours.
From the king of Bazoku, they call him Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He said it on an international television that let's respect. He told the West to respect the African values and let them manage their own activities. But as most of us, we know that our African presidents, they are installed by the West. But Museveni is telling these people to leave them to manage their own affairs. But at the same time, when they are left alone to manage their affairs, some of them, they don't want to leave the presidency when they are defeated in the elections. So, is it the West who is installing them back, or they are the ones whom, once they are defeated, they don't want to leave the presidency? Those are the questions that we must check and see. Though the West also might have an hand, but let's have this conversation on the comment section.
Forms that people only whisper about because the rich and the powerful are the main beneficiaries. Corruption needs to be tackled from the top down. This is not only the fairest approach, it is also the most effective because it empowers the public to join the fight and hold leaders accountable through elections and other means.
President of Rwanda, Kagame, he came up with a system of sealing corruption in his country by making sure that all government services are paid through one account, one pay bill, which it was so easy for the Rwandese to get the government services. That was the biggest idea of sealing corruption. And President Trudeau has adopted the same idea. But let's see, will this help the Kenyan people? And also, when he came up with this system, he has also to make sure that there is seriousness and follow-up in such an activity, because the most creative people that I am scared are people we call.
Mambo ni matatu: uhame Kenya, uende jela, ama usafiri uende mbinguni. Hakuna maneno mengine. Wafisadi wote maneno yao ni 3. Number 1, wahame Kenya. Number 2, waende jela. Number 3, wasafiri waende mbinguni. Hakuna maneno mengine. Nimesema hawa watu mambo yao ni 3. Si ndio? Either wahame Kenya, ama waende jela, ama waende mbinguni. Hakuna dawa nyingine. Na nimeambia mambo ni mangapi? 3. Wakitaka kuniletea kisirani, either wahame Kenya, ama nitawaweka jela, ama wasafiri waende mbinguni?
The people who steal the future of our children, they must leave Kenya, or they will go to jail, or they have the...
A friend of mine who is a political analyst in Kenya one day told me that corruption in Kenya and other countries in Africa is like a baobab tree, that it is main root, it cannot be uprooted that easily. Let's check. President Ruto currently has been so tough in terms of corruption. He said, mambo ni matatu, uende jela, ama uhame Kenya, ama uende binguni. Does this statement really mean of his words? Because currently we have a problem that happened in Uasin Gishu about the former governor. He appeared one day in public about being taken to court. Then that story, I don't know if it's still there. And also, he has been so tough on corruption. We are seeing his impact here and there. Corruption has been eating most of our borrowed loans that are meant for development. Corruption has been drailing us behind for so many years since most of the African countries gained independence. And corruption has snatched most of the young people's future through the leaders that we have today. Like what happened in Gabon recently. A minister was caught trying to escape with millions of money in the suitcases. You ask yourself, why is he not keeping all this money in his bank account? Why is he not keeping all this money somewhere else? How much is that you're keeping it in the house? And for sure, we have seen most of the leaders, government officials, they are scared of keeping their money in banks because they will be known. So they keep them in houses. And why should they have to do that? Because it's not genuine money. Those are the things that have been eating our development as Africans.
In your acceptance speech last year, you promised a new Malawi, and you said, I challenge those who sit in Parliament to act professionally, to set a good example. The time of giving free handouts is past. Is the appointment of your daughter, Violet, as a diplomat to Brussels a good example?
I am really amazed that you could use that as an example of something that's not even true. Violet is not going to Brussels. And so the sources...
So is it not true that she's third secretary at the mission in Belgium?
She's not going to as a third secretary at the mission in Belgium. Check your facts, investigate those things.
Okay. Is it true that on this delegation to London, which is actually a virtual conference, but you're here, as I understand it, paid for by the British government, you have 10 people, you wanted 61 to come, reportedly. It was reduced to 10, and of those 10, you've included in the 10 your wife, your daughter, and your son-in-law.
Everyone has a responsibility, like you just mentioned. It is not that I have included them. They are part, because I brought my wife, and I did not invite myself, by the way, to this conference. I have done conferences in Malawi virtually, and over 10 of them. This was an appeal to me to be present here personally in order that we might deal with certain things.
As the president
Yes.
of the country, your foreign minister is back at home, and in the delegation, you've brought your family.
No, I didn't. No. Don't even use that. I brought Malawians that are doing something along with me on this trip, and they're just as valuable.
Okay, so of the 10 people in the delegation, there's 3 of them, apart from you, are members of your family. And that's acceptable, is it? And I say this for somebody who a year ago accused the government, got into power on promising to clear the rubble of...
I can tell you, each one of those have specific functions. and the specific functions are such that for me to be able to attend a meeting like this, I need their services.
If there is a foreign trip for the President, the Democratic Progressive Party, the opposition, will flood his entourage with dozens of cash-hungry handclappers because it's a chance for someone to steal from Malawians. If there's a vacancy at a foreign embassy that requires a professional and career diplomat, the DPP will send someone unqualified, whose only credential is being related to someone at State House by tribe or blood, because it is a chance for someone to steal from Malawians. I'm quoting your words.
Are you talking about qualification?
Another thing that has been eating us as Africans is what we call appointing people into government and not accepting the results of elections. I am not going to tackle much on the Kenyan part. I know there's a very big question there, and also, but I'm going with this direction of appointing our own family members into government. The president of Malawi is criticized of appointing his own daughter into a government job. Go around African countries and check how many leaders have appointed their cousins, brothers, and their own children into these government jobs, whether they are learned or not, whether they are capable for these jobs or not. We have most of our leaders in Africa who have taken these government jobs as their home affairs, how they manage their home affairs. For example, if I bring you back to Kenya, go to the counties, you will realize that in these counties, the best tenders, they are being managed by family members. And that's why I applaud President Ruto. If he really means that he's fighting corruption, let him clean and cleanse every corner. I am really happy with what Professor Kindiki recently did in Nyayo House. How many days did you took before you get your passport? 100 days, some even 500 days, you know. But somebody will come and tell you, I got my passport in 2 days. Then you ask yourself, are we in the same country? So it is high time Africa let's cleanse, and I am happy. I did a video about how the young generation is coming up with new ideas, and let's give them a chance. When you are defeated in an election, please, it's good to accept the results, and those who are in charge of counting the results, let's give the winner its real winning chance. Let's not manipulate. I know we are not going to follow that, but one day with these young upcoming leaders, they will make sure Africa is our business. On matters of election, I always said this before, let us give President Ruto a chance, for example in Kenya, because he only has 1 year now in the office, and I think that doesn't mean that I have shifted my support from whoever party I support or not. But let's be realistic. In terms of this, listen to Mzee Atwoli. Just sincerely listen to Mzee Atwoli. I don't like Atwoli because he has a loose mouth, but listen to him.
Supreme Court ilimaliza, uchaguzi ulikwisha, mtu alitengeneza serikali, aliappoint mkubwa wa majeshi hata kutoka hapa Nyanza tena. Wewe utatoa Ruto namna gani? Sisi na Uhuru Kenyatta na hii grupu ya Raila tuliweka Ruto nje, na sisi tukabaki na serikali. Na Ruto anatoka huko nje anapita kwa sisi kama watu wamesimama, tunangojea matatu. Sasa 2027 niambie tutatoa wapi nguvu? Kama mimi kuamuka pale nilikuwa nakaa nimeanza kusikia uchungu. Raila anasikia uchungu wa aina gani? ana nguvu za kukimbia yeye. Let's speak the truth. The truth will set us free.
Mzee Atwoli spoke about the August general elections in the year 2022. Sincerely speaking, President Uhuru Kenyatta supported his own candidate. Then, President Ruto used his own way sharp kind of thinking and managed to knock the big three down. Then, how are you going to say that President Ruto did not win the election? President Ruto was just a deputy president. President Uhuru Kenyatta was the man who was in charge. If I give you a sincerely watch out, reflect back to Bomas of Kenya. President Uhuru had ability to call whoever is in charge of security and say, let whatever is going on in Bomas of Kenya stop. He did not. He lied. I don't know if he lied, but that's a discussion of another day. He gave out his own silence and to his own team, and they went down and they kept quiet. They were helpless. But the Doyen came out strong, walked out majestically to Bomas of Kenya, knowing that I won this hands down, I am the president. What happened next? We made noise, we went to the Supreme Court, we did everything, but at the end of the day was the winner, President Ruto. He played his cards very well. So that tells you that Raila Amolo Odinga either was played, it was a long call, Babu Wino said this, either President Ruto, which I agree with it, he was very smart than anybody else. And as I finish, let's give this guy a chance. He's going to transform Kenya to something I'm seeing. I am overseeing. Recently, we have seen the transformations that are coming up, seriousness on corruption, Mumiasi, the cartels now are being exposed, and also you can see there are summits taking places in Nairobi. That's a plus in terms of tourism. Let's give him a chance. Even President Uhuru Kenyatta had challenges at his first term, but at the end of the day, it became a lovey-dovey of opposition supporters. So, in Ruto's second term, he might be the Kenya, Africa's best president. Thank you, and let's meet on our next video.